Hi, you've probably read the title of this video and already know what we're going to talk about. I just want to let you know one more thing, and that is that I am sick. Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer, and that's probably why I sound like shit right now, so sorry. Now, anyway, it's likely that you've already seen multiple, videos talking about this exact thing, who their favorite Skylander is. So this would, may not be the most original video out there, but hey, I think it would be fun to discuss my opinion anyways. Ghost Toaster is truly my favorite Skylander, and by quite a lot too. I know it may be an odd pick, but let me explain. When expressing my thoughts regarding Ghost Toaster, it obviously has to first be about his appearance and graphical design. Honestly, this heavily contributes to Ghost Toaster being my favorite Skylander to start with. His design is so evil compared to the majority of Skylanders, and I just love that. Grim Creeper is a worthy contestant, yet I think no one can beat the pure grittiness of Ghost Toaster's design combined with his demonic nature. His chain whip looks like the kind of weapon you inflict some serious harm with, and the character is genuinely menacing. Ghost Toaster's details impress me to this day. The spikes on his head, his yellow eyes with sinister orange pupils, his sharp-edged jaw, the ribs visible through his cloth, his villainous collar, just to mention a few. I got hooked on this guy's design on day one, and for a good reason, because you knew there was something really unique to this figure. His moveset is unique too, when it includes an ability that literally lets him lose health on his own, but makes him completely invulnerable to enemy attacks. He's the only Skylander that has that kind of ability, which is dang impressive. Ghost Toaster's other two abilities may not be insanely creative by themselves, but boy do they shine once you get introduced to those ghosts. Because whenever you defeat an enemy, a ghost will appear which then attacks other enemies. I mean, how brilliant just isn't that? Now I am aware that Dynarang has a very similar upgrade once you go down the Earth Avenger path with him, which is called the First Trap Funeral. But at the end, Ghost Toaster's version works much better since the ghosts can reach further and deal more damage consistently, plus the fact that his ghosts will always be able to attack enemies regardless of which path you choose. There's no doubt that one of Ghost Toaster's paths is objectively more powerful than the other, but I still enjoy the inferior path. Yep, there I said it, the Skullmaster path is superior, and for a lot of reasons. The utility of Ectoplasm mode is just generally far lower than that of the Skull Rush, unfortunately, considering that Skull Rush is the better source for speed and damage output. You can get around your enemies super easily with Skull Rush, and when upgrading it fully with the Skullmaster path, you are able to eat ghosts to heal yourself, something that makes the ghosts even more useful. Having one path much better than the other is something that worsens Ghost Toaster's well-roundedness by a bit, but despite that, I still find the Fear Eater path to be a fun alternative and it expands on, well, the most unique side of Ghost Toaster, being his Ectoplasm mode ability. There are situations where Ectoplasm mode actually comes in surprisingly handy, although I really never have found it to be in combat, from my experience, but when you need to get past environmental dangers, you can just get through without effort using Ectoplasm mode, something I find, strangely enough, mostly occurring in Giants levels. Speaking of giants, there is what I believe to be a glitch which you can exploit the hell out of when it comes to Ghost Toaster's Skull Rush. So, basically, whenever you hit an object with Skull Rush, everything from boxes to barrels containing gold, it leaves a ghost just like a defeated enemy would do. So that gives you a significantly more chances to either heal yourself if you have chosen the Skullmaster path, or an unmatched arsenal of bloodthirsty ghosts ready to utterly demolish anyone or anything that dares to oppose you. Whoa, that was a mouthful. But I stand by my description of this exploit, though I might have exaggerated it just a little there at the end. Anywho, I feel like I have neglected Ghost Saucer's chain whip, and let me just say that it doesn't deserve that kind of treatment at all. Ghost Saucer's chain whip is his primary attack, and I think it's very solid. The very first upgrade for Ghost Saucer is, in fact, well, the improval of the chain whip and its damage, so it's practically gonna be a force to be reckoned with from the beginning. The only thing I find sad about the chain whip is that it doesn't receive any upgrades after that. If Ghost Saucer got a Series 2, I'm sure they would do something with the chain whip, perhaps give you an opportunity to hold in the button to unleash an extra powerful attack, or give you combos. It's also worth mentioning that Ghost Saucer has a pretty hilarious and at the same time interesting backstory. I mean, who doesn't find a chef turning into a paranormal skeleton with an infinite appetite for ghosts amusing? And fun fact, the reason he has a chain whip in the first place is because he eradicated an entire village of ghosts, for he was, well, hungry. Yeah, therefore he was punished with having a chain with a spiked ball at the end attached to his bottom. So you could actually consider it a burden for Ghost Saucer to carry the chain. I didn't actually get Ghost Saucer as a figure for years until I one year received him as a Christmas gift. In that moment, well, it meant very much to me as a little kid, and it probably heightened my love for Ghost Saucer even more at that point. Now, does nostalgia play a very important role here? Yes is the answer. I can escape it, you can certainly not escape it. Nostalgia often influences our opinions when we reflect on things in the past, and yeah, that's definitely the reason why Ghost Saucer is my favorite Skylander. It's been that for a very long time, and it would just be weird for me if it changed, regardless of how well you would somehow convince me that Green Creeper is objectively better. I already know that there are Skylanders that are better in terms of power, but it all depends. It's all personal preference, and I think we all should respect that. This also doesn't mean that I just like Ghost Saucer. In reality, I like most Skylanders. Most, that is. And this isn't a video made to tell you that Ghost Saucer is the only Skylander to like. Absolutely not. You can like whichever Skylander you want, and I'm fine with it. Because if I'm being honest, I'd rather see more people like other Skylanders than Ghost Saucer. I mean, although that's pretty likely. Feel free to comment your personal favorite Skylander and perhaps explain why. So, that's about the end of it, and I wish you all a great day. See ya!